You're listening to today's inspirational message on the Proverbs with Kurt Bjorklund.
So at the very end of the book, there's a sense of inclusio, which means something that was introduced at the beginning. It says this, Proverbs 31:30, "Charm is deceitful, beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised." And then if you go back to the beginning, verse 7 of chapter 1, it says, "The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge." And to say that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge and that the person who fears the Lord is to be praised at the beginning and the end of the book, it kind of gives you the big theme, which is ultimately to orient your life around the ways of God is where real knowledge is. John Sailhammer said, "Fear is the reverential subordination of our wills." Dr. Constable said this, "It's an affectionate reverence that results in humbly bowing to the Father's will. It's a desire not to sin against him because his wrath is so awful and his love is so great." Bruce Waltke says, "What the alphabet is to reading, notes to music, and numerals to mathematics, the fear of the Lord is to attaining and revealing knowledge in this life." And then we could say that fear is really the beginning here is this idea that it will work in our lives to bring wisdom and to bring praise. And so here's my question as we come to the end of this study, this consideration, and that is, what are you doing to cultivate the fear of the Lord in your life? There are probably things that you and I do that are inane and don't do much, but what is it that helps you cultivate the fear of the Lord? Certainly there are some traditional answers. Attend church, I worship, I read my Bible, I try to pray. Certainly we could talk about groups, serving, those kinds of things. But what gives you reverential awe for God? You see, those things, they can help you have that, and I think they help you much like eating helps you. But eating in and of itself does not necessarily produce fitness. What produces fitness is being meticulous in our diet and at the same time being meticulous in our expenditures of energy. And so my question is, how are you structuring your intake so that what it is that you're taking in is indeed producing in you reverential awe for God? Because according to Proverbs, this is what is important in our lives. And so if I'm not feeling reverential awe, then the onus is on me in some way, some shape or form to orient my life in such a way that reverential awe becomes so important to me that I pursue it with everything in me. And here's what I know from years of being a Christian, a pastor, and that is there's an ebb and flow to reverential awe. But as soon as you start to sense it slipping away, it's time to say, I want to do something to recapture it. And sometimes it's simple choices. It's an awareness of God. It's a decision to be fully present in a worship service. It's a decision to listen to something like a 5 Good Minutes podcast instead of some sports or cooking podcast or whatever it is that you're into. But again, it goes more to the disposition that says, I will bend my knee. And here's what I've really learned about fear or reverential awe. And that is, it isn't just an attitude. It comes from acting on what we already know. And the more times that we stunt what we already know by not acting on it, the less our awe is expanded toward God. So, as we come to the end of this study, I hope that it has moved you to have a greater awe for the ways of God and a greater desire to orient your life around the very things of God. I hope that this is true for me as well. God bless you. And next week we'll begin a new consideration on 5 good minutes.
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.